Hi, I'm Ken Ueno. I'm a professor in the music department where I teach music composition. I'm a composer, a vocalist, and sound artist. As a composer, I compose works for all different kinds of ensembles and genres, orchestra, opera, chamber ensembles, and different exciting new types of groups that include more contemporary instruments like electric guitar and laptops. As a sound artist, I make installations for museums and galleries, spaces in which the architecture itself becomes an ostensible instrument. For example, in my recent installation, Jericho Mouth, in collaboration with the architect Thomas Tsang, a hollow wall became a resonant space that articulated my amplified voice. It was loud enough that it shook the building. In this way, we could feel the architecture as an instrument. As a vocalist, I specialize in what are called extended techniques, sounds that are not part of the traditional Western classical lexicon of musical sounds. I will demonstrate. These are subtones. I throat sing. And here's overtone singing. And here's some multiphonics. These unique sounds become the vehicle through which I can make a more personal expression. Whenever we are confined to a language in music, say classical performance practice, we are rewriting as much as we are writing. As I am speaking to you now using these English words, but by using my body as a laboratory to invent new sounds, there's the possibility of latent writing. In essence, I can help invent my own language. Although I'm a classically trained musician, I'm cognizant of the fact that I don't belong to the dominant cultures of Western classical music. So my hope and participation has been carved through discovering my own way. I have to fuck shit up. After discovering, inventing these sounds, I invented syntax for how these sounds can operate in a musical structure. All art is a search for identity. When I was growing up, I was insecure about being American. I was so disturbed by this notion that my first life plan was to go to West Point and serve my country. So I worked really hard in high school and got a congressional nomination and actually got into West Point. After surviving the plebe year, I suffered an injury and had to come home to my mom's to convalesce for 2 years and figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life now that plan A was taken away from me. It was during that time that I discovered music. I was inspired by radicals like Jimi Hendrix and John Coltrane, people who invented new ways to play their instruments. The way they play their instruments delivers to me a visceral energy, a feeling that can't be expressed in any other way. That is why I believe we still have and need music. Through my own research into making sounds with my body, I am searching for something similar, a sound that moves my body in a particular way. When I compose, I collaborate with other performers who are also interested in extending the history of their instruments, and I create a context in which our little village can make music together, a kind of imagined primitive culture of the future. Another analogy I have is comparing what I do to present-day foodie culture. Nowadays, when many of us travel the world to go to specific restaurants to taste the fruits of collaborations between specific chefs and farmers, the standard for 3 Michelin stars is that it is worth traveling to that country, to that restaurant, just to have a meal at that place. In my music, I am striving for something similar. I write person-specific music, music which, mostly, can only be performed by one person, sometimes in one specific space. My megaphone is a prosthetic extension of my body. It can be an augmenter, an impediment. It not only allows me to make sounds that are louder, it helps me make sounds I can't make in any other way. It also allows me to make some sounds during which I can breathe. It is also a symbol. The megaphone is an instrument of protest. I know many of you out there watching this will think, this is weird. But you know what? Even if you think that, as I am standing here in front of you, I live from doing this weird thing that I do. I'm a professor at UC Berkeley because of what I do. In a way, the weirder that you think I am, the more I represent hope, because chances are your shit is not as weird as my shit, and if I can live from doing this, then surely you can too. In my class, I push my students to test the limits of their comfort zones to broaden their creative capacities. The provocation is this: wouldn't you rather live in a world where even this is possible?